I think there were a lot of fans. They were worried not seeing you on Embedded for the first few episodes, that maybe you might not have made it to Australia. So how smooth was the journey getting here?
Well, it was a lot of bumps in the road, but we're here now. It was a long flight from Mexico. It took us like 30 hours to get to Bali, and then another like 3.5, almost 4 hours to get here. It was Mexico, Barcelona, Dubai, Bali, Perth.
Was the bumps in the road, was that just the journey? Were there other things that involved?
Nah, just that, normal things like happen in camp. But no, that's it,
So now that you're here, what are the emotions? You're only a few days away from fighting Josh Emmett for the interim featherweight title. I know you were, when we spoke to you in Dallas, you were a guest fighter. You were pretty focused on getting Volkanovski on this card, but you have Josh Emmett for the interim title. So what are your thoughts on Josh as an opponent?
My thoughts on Josh as an opponent. I think he's a really dangerous opponent. I think he can make some damage if he gets to connect a single punch, and so I'm going to have to be really careful with him. He's a guy that I really respect. He's doing this for the right reasons, and I expecting him to bring the best of him, so it's a war as always.
You fought like Max Holloway, the Zombie, and Jeremy Stevenson, and all these guys. How does Josh compare to those? Do you feel like you fought tougher competition getting here than you will on Sunday?
No, I just think it's the same thing. Every time that I step into the octagon, I cannot disrespect the guy in front of me. Because he's the best opponent that I could have at the moment. Plus me. I'm always fighting myself instead of the other guy. I'm trying to win against myself every single day. My demons. That's about it. But talking about Josh Emmett, I think he's a really dangerous opponent, so I'm respecting him because of that. And just be smart in the fight.
And I'm sure you visualize getting the belt wrapped around you in Australia here. So would you feel like a champion? Like when Justin Gaethje won, he threw the belt on the ground, said it wasn't the real belt because he hadn't fought Khabib yet. But then when Dustin Poirier won, he viewed it as a real championship considering the journey it took for him to get here.
I mean, the journey's been long. It's been like 10 years for me to get here to this point finally. And, it's just, I don't want to be disrespectful and saying there is not like the true belt or whatever. It's just what it is. We're like being honest. If I get to fight for like the actual belt, then that will be the belt. If the actual champion decides not to come back to the 145 pounds, then, then the champion of the division is whoever has the interim belt. That's it. That's who it is.
And how do you see that main event between Volkanovski and Islam playing out?
I just think I'm not counting out Alexander Volkanovski because I know he's capable of doing a lot of things in that cage. I just think Islam uses his weapons better, and I think Alexander is going to have to be really, really smart in order for him to get the win. And I think Islam has better chances to win, honestly, but I don't count Alexander Volkanovski out of the fight.
How you going, mate? This is the furthest you've had to travel for a UFC fight. How do you think the jet lag and just the effort it takes to travel is going to affect you? And did you come a bit early to kind of acclimatize and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we came to Bali. I think we stayed in Bali for like 7 or 8 days before we came here. So I feel pretty adjusted to the time zone here. And right now, I'm just good. I'm perfect right now.
And after the Volk Holloway number 3 fight, and they were talking about who's next, did you feel like you were the rightful person to be next? Because it could have gone kind of any of 3 ways with Alan and Emmett in the discussion as well.
Yeah, I always get like kind of the same questions, but the true answer to all of those questions is we're going to fight each other. Like, we are on the same division, we are too close to each other, and whomever is winning, eventually is going to fight the top guys in the game. So it's like a mix, you're always going to have like the tougher opponents in front of you. So it doesn't matter if I'm not fighting Max Holloway or Allen right now or any other guy in the division. I think eventually it will happen. It's just a matter of time, and that's it.
And with the way your fight with Brian Ortega finished and going into your next fight, it wasn't the ideal way to finish a fight. So does that kind of sit in the back of your mind going into your next fight? Like, I hope this fight actually finishes as a fight?
Well, that's up to how you see it, right? because I did everything. It was in my hands to finish the fight. It's sad that people think that Brian Ortega's arms falling to the ground by itself, the shoulder, by itself, by no reason. It's just stupid to think that way. But if people wants to, look down to that win, that victory, it's okay with me. I know what I did, and if people doesn't understand, then I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
And what's your thoughts on Australia?
On Australia, who asked that question?
Just over here. Sorry, dude.
Oh, it's a beautiful country, brother. I always wanted to come here since I was a kid, and it's just the weather is nice, people is nice. I haven't been able to really taste the food here because, of course, I'm on a diet, But my family went out yesterday. Everything looks delicious, and I can't wait to enjoy the country a little more. I was talking to a member of my team, and he knows some people here. I have a couple of friends from Australia, and I can't wait to go to the ocean and do some sport fishing or whatever I can in order for me to get to know the country even more.
Do you get to spend some more time after the fight? A couple of days, or?
My friend right here, who is my training partner as well, Marco Beltran, is a UFC veteran as well. He's fighting in Paris for the 145-pound belt in there in Ares company, and we're going right after here to help him out. So I'm gonna go to help him out. So.
And one last question: after it's all said and done, how does Yair Rodriguez want to be remembered?
I don't know if I want to be remembered or not. It's just, I'm just living, and if people remembers me, then I'm fine with that. If not, then I hope just make a change in somebody's life, a positive change in somebody's life. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jair, one more. How do you see the match between Max Holloway and Arnold Allen playing out? That was just announced.
Well, I think Max Holloway has more tools than what people think. And it was probably the toughest fight I ever had. It's really, really tough. And I think Allen has really good opportunities against Max Holloway, especially if he's in submitting him, because he's really good in the ground. But I think just Max Holloway is so experienced, bro. So experienced, not because of no reason. He was one of the best pound for pound ever. So I just think the experience is going to play a big role in that fight.
Then last one for me, I have to ask, we saw your reaction when Brandon Moreno won the interim title in Dallas. That clip kind of went viral. You didn't get to watch it there in person when he won the undisputed belt in Brazil. So how did you react at home watching Brandon win?
No, I was pumped, but I was hanging out with my coaches and some of my friends in my friend's house in Mexico, and I was just sitting there in the floor, enjoying the fight, and I was fired up because I saw Figueiredo throwing some, dirty punches in there, like a kick in the floor and stuff like that. I was like, hey, I was just getting really pumped in the fight, But as soon as I saw him winning the fight, I knew. I actually mentioned it in the interview before the fight. I think the fight is gonna be over in the second or third round, and that's what happened. So I'm really happy for him.
Brandon has a belt. You're fighting for a belt. Alexa Grasso is about to fight for the belt. Irene is probably in the number one contender fight. Are you hoping the UFC goes to Mexico this year for a pay-per-view?
100%. I think regardless of what happened in this fight, or the UFC is going to Mexico. And they're building a UFC Performance Institute as well. I think September, which I think is amazing. It's amazing for the next generations. We're getting old. We're gonna get there eventually, and it's gonna be time for the new guys, for the new era to come and take over. So I'm happy for that. Good. Thank you, guys.